This is Irontrader, and this is Midday Trading. Okay, we're going to take a look here at some tech stocks. We're going to first of all take a look at Meta, at Google, at PLTR, and at OS, which is OneStream. Okay, this video is for information purposes only, not a recommendation to buy selling stock. Not going to use ETF. Please like, subscribe. Thanks for watching. All right, here we have Meta. This is a really, really good trader, okay? Now, when we look at this RSI, we're only sitting here at 54. That's not overbought or oversold. We look at your MACD. Your green is over your red, which is really, that's what you want to do. That's momentum there to the upside. When the green crosses below that red, that shows momentum there to the downside, which is, and that's the result of it, okay? So here we are. You can see we had that big spike up, went all the way, but where did it go? It went right up to that 200-day. Let me just pick that up there for you. There you go. Okay, so now what we did, we had another spike up, and you can see where this 200-day is very, very strong on the old resistance, okay? 671.44. Now, you can see right here, we had three things. We just hanging around there, couldn't really do it, came right on down. We spiked up, and right now that 200-day is going to be key, okay? So this is what we want to do. We have to, the price has to get above that 671.44. That's going to be a very, very key level, okay? Now, if it does, then we'll come over there to the top of that candle. That's 676.10. Okay. Now, what I want to show you, just because we had that spike up, that's really like a whole lot of nothing. That could be anything kind of a situation. People just, big buy signal, big sell signal kind of a situation. Okay. So always look for when you have a spike up and spike down like that. That's what we want to, pretty much call it. So right now, what we're really looking for is this 200-day. That's the key. 671.44. Your next level right there is going to be 676.10. Now, if it keeps right on rolling up here, this is what we're really looking for, is the bottom of that candle. That's at 742.51. Okay, realistically, because that is the gap fill. So you can see where we have the top of this candle right here at that 680 mark. Okay, so it just a little bit above what we have going on here, okay? But again, once we start getting into the gap, now I'm not talking about that spiky, we get on into the gap, first of all, you got that 100-day at 706.36, but if we keep right on rolling, that's going to be the key. That's what we're going to be looking for, is 742.51, and eventually I think it's going to get there. Then what we do is we look at the top of that candle, 759 level. Then you can work yourself up here to the top of this candle. You're looking at that 790 level, and then we have that 796.25. That is going to be your big breakout, and obviously we cracked that. We're going to go to that 800, and we start heading right towards that 1,000 mark. Now, again, it'd be nice if this thing did the old split ski. That would be good, like Netflix did. That would be good. You could buy a lot more shares then. Okay. Now here on the downside, we're watching that 50-day. Okay, 660.30. Then we have that 8-day right below it. You look at that 654. Then we have that 21-day at that 647 level. Now, if we lose that, we come right down to the bottom of this candle here. You're looking at that 638 level. Then we can venture down to the bottom there. On this candle here, you're looking at that 618. And then we have that 597, and then we have your big retest down here at 581. But right now, this is actually looking here very, very good. The key is going to be getting and closing above that 671. Then we can work ourselves into this gap, okay? Because a lot of times you have this gap. That's why I always point out these gaps like we had here, okay? Like we have here, okay? Because the reason I do that, because a lot of times when the resistance goes up, it wants to go right to that gap, okay? So that's where it wants to go. Now, once it starts getting into that gap, okay, minus old spiky here. Once it gets into the gap, then it wants to fill that gap all the way at that bottom of that candle at that 742.51 level. So this one here, just be a little bit patient. But again, a close above that 200-day, that's the time to get in this and take us for a nice good ride all the way up here, at least to that 100-day at that 706 and that gap fill kind of a situation. Okay, let's take a look here now at Google. All right, here we have Google. I can see here how it's really getting this act together here. Look at this nice, good, right chart, okay? Bottom left, upper right, holding that 50-day very, very nicely, okay? Now, I got their YouTube TV, and I got to tell you, that is really, really good. Okay, I used to have this Charter, okay, and Spectrum or whatever you want to call it. The problem with that is they'll give it to you for $39.99. Then when you read the fine print, you're really paying over $100 for this, because you got a fee on this and a fee on that and a fee on this and a tax on this. YouTube is just one price, is $82.99. Now, the beauty of it is, okay, like say when the ESPN went down, okay, they had to negotiate with that. Well, hell, they give you a $20 credit right there, put it right on your bill, take it right off. I said, wow, that's really cool. But the thing I like about the Google TV is you can stop, start it, you can record it, you can record anything you want, watch it whenever you want. And again, if you say, hey, I'm going on vacation, I'm for a month here, you can stop. You can, take a Google right off and then start it whenever you want, kind of a situation. I think it's a really good idea, but I think they have that AI trade. I think they have a lot of good, really good stuff going here. So let's take a look at the chart. Okay, so we made that high at 320.83. Then selling right on off. We got to a little bit of an overbought situation. But now here, we're kind of rallying up here. The key is you got to hold that 8-day on a closing basis, 306.42. If we lose that, we're going to come down to the bottom there, 397. We come down here at that 296.12. Then we'd be looking for that key 50-day at 288.97 level. Now, again, then we just take these price channels right across. Okay, you're looking at 288 level. We just bring this price channel right across. We're looking at a 278, and then we'll bring that price channel across. We're looking at that 277 level, okay? But again, right now, watch that 50-day. As long as we're holding that 50-day, and look how long we've been holding it, this is very, very good, very, very solid. Now, the upside here, 21-day, 313.02, okay? We got to crack above that. Once we crack above that 21-day, then here's your target. It's going to be right up here. Okay, you're looking at 321.31. We'll come up there at 323, and then we can come up top of that candle. You're looking at 326, and then there's your breakout at 328. We crack that, you're going to go to that 350 mark and work yourself all the way up to that 400 mark. Okay, now I say when down 54, that's not overbought or oversold. The green is still below your red here. That shows that momentum. See how that when that green crosses that red, momentum is right down to the downside. Okay, so again, if we can get above that 21-day, that 328 is going to be next. Then we'd have to see when it gets up to that area what the reaction is going to be. Okay, does it go up to the area and come right on down, or does it crack through? If it cracks through, then you're going to go right to that 350 mark. That's going to be your target. Okay, but Google's, I think that's always a very, very good trade. Okay, PLTR. Let's take a look at that. Now, we look at PLTR. You can see the nice, good uptrending situation that we got going here. Okay, so when it sold right on down, came right on down and held that nice 200 SMA, which is always very, very good. Okay, but you can see how that's nice, good uptrend situation. Now, what we have here is we have a left shoulder, a head, and a right shoulder. Now, again, this looks like it wants to keep breaking up, but we got to see we got a little topping tail situation going on there today. So the upside, what you want to watch is 198.88. Okay, now if it gets above it, see now we're into that gap. Then we're going to be looking to the bottom of that candle. That's the gap fill right there. Okay, so you're looking at 201.82. Now we get above that, obviously, then we can come over here to the top of this candle at 204.18, and then your big retest at 207.52. We crack that. Obviously, next you go to that 220, 225, and roll your way up to that 250 area. Okay, very, very nicely. Now, on the downside here, what we want to watch obviously today's low, 192.68, but really the key level is this 8-day, 186.47. You got to hold that, and we want to hold this 50-day. Now, you can see how strong this 50-day, we're holding it very, very nicely. Okay, right there. 180.29, and then we have 177.70. There's your 21-day. Then we have your 100-day right below it at 175.78. Now we start losing that. We'll come right to the bottom of this candle here. Your support level is going to be 168.83, and then we'll come down here at 163.12, and then we'll come down there at 156.15, and then we're going to be looking at it for that 200-day at 147.48. But right now, this just looks like it just wants to keep going higher. If you look at the RSI, you're sitting at 61. That's not overbought or oversold. The green is over your red. You can see the nice, good momentum that we have going here. So realistically, what I'll be looking for next is this gap fill. That's going to be very, very key at that 201.82. And then that 204.18, and then that 207. So we don't have that much to go to get to that 207.52, but we can crack that, and you can close above it. Then it's just going to be blue sky all the way on up. Okay, let's take a look here now at OS, which is OneStream. Okay, here we have OneStream. Now you can see here how we had it rallied right on up here nicely on these earnings. Okay, see where the earnings came out? Rallied right up nicely, but it couldn't really hold that 200-day. Came down, held the 50-day, then rallied up here, and then sideways action, and then consolidation. Now it came down to this 1691 level. Okay, so if we take this out a little bit, what we're really looking at, we're looking at this 1651 level, because all we want to do is look right to the left of the chart there, 1669. See that right there? That's a double bottom situation. Okay, that's what we got. Now, never even made it there on the second try. It went right on here, hit the low, came down, retested it, ran up here, and now we're making a higher low, which is always good. Okay, so it never came down to that 1651. Now it came down at 1691. Then we popped up here. Now we're above that 8-day, but you can see how that 8-day is trying to curl up here now. 21 days trying to curl up, and where the price now is above is hanging right onto that 50-day. So your key level support here is going to be 1921. Okay, that is your 50-day. Then your next level is going to be right there, 1902. Okay, and then we lose all that. We come down here to this 8-day at that 1806. Now we lose that. We'll come down the bottom of this candle here, the 1781, and then we have your retest down there at 1691. Now on the upside, if we can hold that 50-day, okay, that's going to be very key at that 1921. Your next resistant level is going to be 1956. Okay, that's going to be key. That's going to be your 100-day. Now we have this gap up here. So if we can crack that, then it's going to come. Look, we're looking for the top of this candle. That's that 2021 level. Okay, that's your gap, and then we look to the bottom of that candle at 2067. So you have your gap. Okay, and then once it starts going in, then we have the fill. Then we have the top of that candle. You're looking at that 2131, which is basically that price channel. Okay, we get above that, we have the 200-day. Now that's going to be very, very critical. If it keeps running, we have to get and close back above that 200-day. Then if it does, then we can start hitting the targets up here. 2313, we'll come up there at 2374, and then we have the big retest at 2394. Okay, but right now here, this is what you want to watch on the upside is that 100-day. You want to get cracked that through that, and we have the gap, the fill, and then we have the retest at 2131. Okay, that is your upside situation. On the downside, you've got to make sure that you hold that 50-day, that 21 SMA here, and then we have that 8-day all the way down here at that 1805. Now, when you look at the RSI, look at, you got 52, you got plenty of room to run. You can see here the green now is crossed over your red. Maybe we can get some good momentum here to take this bad boy. At least retest, that 2131, if not that 2205 level. Okay? Patience is the key. Let the trade come to you. Don't force it. Let the trade come to you. All right, that's what I got for you, and I'll be back here at pit close. Take a look here at Bitcoin. Gold, silver, crude oil, natural gas. We'll take a look at the indexes. We're all nice and green now. The Dow's up about 250, S&P's up about 40, and then Nasdaq's up there around 129. I think we can get our little Santa Claus rally. Now remember, this week here, you got Monday, Tuesday, half day Wednesday, Thursday's off because of Christmas holiday, and then we have Friday. So the volume's going to be low. But on Tuesday, there's a lot of information coming out there. Everything's all jammed up on Tuesday. So Tuesday is going to be wet and wild. So just always get prepared for that. All right. Trade what's in front of you. Not what you want.